Defendants would like to call Melinda Meek to the stand.
Yes.
Ma'am, will you please state your name for the court?
My name is Melinda Meek,
And can you spell your last name?
M-E-E-K,
And where are you employed?
Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors.
Okay, and what's your job function and title?
My title is Clerk of the Board and Elections Director.
Okay, and how long have you been at that job?
That job approximately 17 years.
And can you very briefly for the court describe your job duties as they relate to this lawsuit?
So as the Elections Director, I'm in charge of the conduct of the elections for Santa Cruz County.
And you did indeed have a meeting with Mr. Brakey and Mr. Adriano Soros on July 9th of this year. Is that correct?
I don't know that I would call it a meeting.
Okay, you did meet with them though?
Yes.
Okay, what happened on that day?
They just came in to give me the public records request.
And you are familiar with that document that they gave you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Was there anybody else present when you met with those two individuals?
It was just John Brakey and Mr. Ariano.
Okay, and who were you speaking with?
With John Brakey.
Okay, and what was Mr. Arellano's role in that meeting?
I'm not sure. Mr. Brakey introduced me to him, but I had no conversation with Mr. Ariano.
Okay, did Mr. Arellano ever directly address you? Other than greeting?
Other than just greeting me, no.
Did he ever ask you to do anything?
No.
And who actually hand-delivered the document to you?
John Brakey.
And did you had the opportunity to review that document?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and what did you do once you got it?
Once I received it, as I do with any other public records request that is presented to my office, I forward it to the county attorney's office.
Okay, and did you forward it to anybody else?
I don't believe so.
And as the clerk of the Board of Supervisors, does that, did you take any action with respect to that job title?
I
with this?
notified the county manager and the Board of Supervisors of the public records request.
Okay, and did you take an opportunity to discuss with them and the county attorney how the county intended to respond?
At that particular point when I received it,
Yeah, just generally speaking.
throughout the process, yes,
Okay,
we met to discuss it.
okay. And who made the determination of how to respond?
It was ultimately made by the Board of Supervisors.
And what was your role in carrying out the wishes of the board?
I'm not quite sure.
You mentioned that you forwarded the document to the county attorney's office. I'm assuming you had additional contact with the county attorney's office
Correct.
to address the situation. And again, from whom were you getting your marching orders of how to handle future correspondence with Mr. Brady?
That was done through Charlene LaPlante from the county attorney's office.
And what is your understanding of what Charlene LaPlante does?
She represents the Board of Supervisors and also the Elections Department.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge with respect to any other offices of the county that she represents?
I believe she also represents the Recorder's Office.
I could direct your attention to, I think, Plaintiffs Exhibit 6, do you see that there?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with that document?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and what is that document?
This is a letter from Charlene, the chief civil deputy from the county attorney's office, to Mark Larkin. Mark Larkin?
Okay, and you are familiar with Mr. Larkin, being a local attorney?
Correct.
Okay. And, Ms. Meek, what, are you familiar enough with the Board of Supervisors' position with respect to the record request to be able to explain, the response drafted by Ms. LaPlante?
I believe the letter does reflect the Board of Supervisors' response.
Okay. If I could also draw your attention to, kind of look side by side at Exhibit 6 and also Exhibit 1, which on page 3 identifies the 10 itemized requests made by Plaintiff Brady. What, the response made by the county was that the document as requested does not exist. What do you mean by that? Well, what's meant by that?
So you're referring to, is that items?
Items number 1. Well, we're going to go down
Okay.
through. Item number 1. Well,
So it's my understanding that in the public records request, as the item was requested, it does not exist,
okay, why is that?
because there's not one.
Okay, and specifically, I guess just for the court's benefit, what was being requested was an electronic copy of the contract with the vendor who programs the central count election computer and the ActiVote memory card. And you're saying that does not exist?
It doesn't exist because I do that myself, it's done in-house.
So there is no contract and there is no vendor that would satisfy that first
In my
request?
opinion, no.
Okay. And what about request number 2? Wherein the copy of the contract with Runbeck Inc. was requested?
The county does not do business with Runbeck Inc.
Okay, and if, as the elections director, is anybody in a better position to know that than you?
I don't believe so.
Okay. With respect to request number 3, the electronic copy of Runbeck invoices that show how many ballots are being purchased for the 2014 primary, what's the county's position with respect to that?
Once again, the county does not do business with Runbeck Inc.
Okay. With respect to item number 4, the copy of the long-term contract or intergovernmental agreement with the recorder office listing their responsibility, do you have any knowledge with respect to that?
I do not.
Okay. To your knowledge, is there an intergovernmental agency agreement? Or intergovernmental agreement?
The recorder's office, no, there is not.
Request number 2 and 3 specifically identify Runbeck Inc. As a company or a vendor, rather. On July 9th of this year, or actually, pardon me, on August 7th, 2014, would the county have had these records even if, for example, if it was a different vendor, would the county even have these records on that date for the 2014 primary?
As of that date, no.
And that's because the primary hadn't happened yet?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any, can you articulate for the court the county's position with respect to requests 5 through 9?
I'm not exactly sure how you want me to answer that.
Okay. In responding to the request made by plaintiffs, the county attorney was responding to all the requests, is that correct? That it wasn't a separate request for the county recorder, as for the Board of Supervisors, as for the elections department, correct? It was just one response?
That's correct.
A collective response?
That's correct.
Okay. And are you, and basically in 5 through 9, the response was that information wouldn't be provided. Why wouldn't that information be provided, based on your knowledge?
We were concerned that the integrity of the election process in the county could potentially be compromised if this information were released.
Okay, and you use the word "we." So who's the "we" that you're referring to?
The Board of Supervisors, the Elections Department.
And was there anybody else that was consulted in making that determination or expressing that concern?
There were several people. I know we contacted the Secretary of State's office. The Attorney General's office was involved at one point. The Santa Cruz County IT Director.
And did the board, what steps did the board take to address those concerns? You mentioned the county IT individual. Who are you talking about?
The director's name for Santa Cruz County is Raul Mavis.
Okay, and the board had meetings with who?
Raul Mavis.
Okay, it's your understanding that the board consulted with its IT department, I don't know what IT stands for. It's Information Technology Department, to address this record request.
And to address the concerns, yes.
Okay, and what did the board decide to do after that consultation?
They decided to deny the request.
And again, I'm not sure if I asked it this directly, but what was the reason for that denial?
Possibly compromising election security.
And I should have asked you maybe up front, do you have any type of technology background or programming background?
No.
Okay. And in all of this, in all of your interactions with Mr. Brakey and the county attorney's office and Mr. Mavis, and you mentioned several other agencies, the Secretary of State and the Attorney General's office, and all of those actions, were all of those actions you being directed by the board? I guess let me rephrase that. I'm asking you, who was deciding how the county would respond to this request ultimately?
The Board of Supervisors.
And is it fair to say, or is the response that was delivered by Ms. LaPlante, did that accurately convey the position that the Board of Supervisors intended to take with respect to this?
Yes.
And did that August 7th letter, did that end the issue for the county? I guess, was there additional discussion had since then, or did that, was additional investigation conducted?
I believe there was a meeting between myself and Ms. LaPlante and George Silva, the county attorney, in reference to try to locate an expert in this type of information that could possibly help us in determining whether to go forward with this or not.
There's no further questions, Ron.
Oh, remember, I need to take a brief break. Don't go too far. I'm gonna run down to another courtroom, do a juvenile matter that should not take, not even
Now you say you claim to be programming the county's computers, county's AccuVote system. Is that accurate?
The county what system?
AccuVote system.
Yes.
Okay. And where did you learn how to program computers?
On the job. I'm certified through the Secretary of State's office, and I've been through various training to do that.
And I've been to,
Various trainings to do that.
Why did you decide to learn how to certify machines when most small counties in the state utilize outside vendors?
I don't believe I said I certified.
Or, I'm sorry, to program the machine?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Move on. Did you ever express to the plaintiffs or know of anybody with the county who expressed to the plaintiffs that the county claims not to do business with Runback Inc.?
not to do business.
Claims not to do business with Runback Inc.?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Did you ever tell well, let's start with you. Did you ever tell plaintiffs that the county didn't do business with Runback Inc.?
I was never asked that question, so no, I did not tell them.
Ms. Meek, isn't it true that the last time a GEM system was updated was June 15th, 2007?
That's not correct.
It's not correct?
No.
May I approach you?
Yes.
Ms. Meek, if that's not correct, why is it that that's the last certification date that the Secretary of State's office has for your county's system?
This document is, and I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay. So you program the machines in this county, you said?
Yes,
And for the election?
yes.
And you're telling me that you don't know what the Arizona Secretary of State certified vote tabulated equipment list is?
I've never seen it in that format before.
Okay. Ms. Meek, isn't it true that the last time the county updated its AccuVote system was June 15th, 2007?
I don't believe that's true. It's been upgraded a couple of times.
Why is it that that is the last certification date that the county has on file for that system?
Objection, Your Honor, assuming facts not in evidence.
Well, you're, okay. Your Honor, we have no further questions for this witness. At the conclusion of plaintiff's of defense, we'd like to recall one of our computer experts, Mickey Donahoe.
Yeah, just briefly. Counsel was using the word program. What exactly does that mean in the context of preparing the machines for an election?
What it means to me is I receive a database and it's programmed into the GEM system. And from the GEM system, memory cards are produced and then downloaded to each one of the voting devices.
Okay, are you at any point writing code?
No,
Okay, are you at any point accessing or tweaking with metadata?
no,
Okay, basically, you're ensuring, as used by counsel and admitted by you, when we're talking about programming machines, you're basically ensuring that the candidate's information and party affiliation get inputted correctly, and
I'm sorry, you're basically ensuring that
that the machines have the appropriate candidate information and party affiliation and things that are necessary for people to cast their vote.
that's correct.
Okay, you're not doing programming as understood typically when you're referring to computers. I don't know if that's a question. You're not doing, I think we've answered that. That's fine. Oh, one second. And does the Secretary of State have some oversight with respect to how the computer system operates for each election?
Yes, they do. They perform what's referred to as logic and accuracy testing.
As what accuracy?
Logic and accuracy testing.
And how often does that occur?
It's done prior to every election.
Okay, to your knowledge, and since you've been at your job, that has happened at every election?
Yes, it's required.
And did that happen for the primary election of this year?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and will that happen before the general election of this year?
Yes, it will.
Okay, all right. That's all I have, Your Honor. Okay, I just one follow-up here. And did the county pass inspection? Did the Secretary of State approve of the way that everything was administered?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's all I have.